Spencer Dinwiddie is packing his bags and coming here to Europe. Do you believe this is a sentence that was uttered on this podcast?
Because a couple of days ago, we had a podcast, and I mentioned Spencer Dinwiddie, and the initial reaction of his camp after the first inquiries coming from Europe was like, no way, not even a question. And there's a reason because of that, because I heard there was another player, NBA guy, who was drawing huge interest from the EuroLeague teams, a center, almost convinced to come to Europe, but the NBA agents found him a new spot in the NBA, so he kind of cut ties with the previous agency.
So guys, check who signed a center, who signed.
But that's how crazy it works. You don't even want to mention Europe as an option to your client because you just can get fired, like literally.
Right.
And it's still the topic. But Spencer Dinwiddie.
To mention it to a guy who's played in the NBA since 2014, 10-year veteran, 621 games, regular season games in the league, and a guy who at some point was considered the leading guy in Brooklyn. Then he was signed as a big deal in Washington, then in Dallas. Of course, some injuries plagued his career, but generally speaking, the status of Spencer Dinwiddie, in my head at least, was always right now that's a veteran point guard that any team could use. And to see this news of Bayern Munich being in advanced talks with Spencer Dinwiddie, it doesn't sound real to me because it just doesn't make sense. I don't know.
It doesn't make sense because Dinwiddie is coming to Europe, or that he is
both
in a strong position to join Bayern, not
both.
Olympiacos,
honestly,
not Partizan,
I was
else.
surprised that he's about to sign with Bayern, not let's say a bigger name in Europe. I mean, as a brand, Bayern is a huge name, but basketball-wise, I was expecting Olympiacos. I was expecting maybe Partizan.
How do you think they think in America? Do they think through the lens of Germany? Oh, I've heard about Germany.
Oh, Bayern, yeah.
Or
good football team.
Or do you think about Greece? Well, Greece, yeah, I know Greece, but
Greece is nice.
What's in Greece? Is cool. Of course, Greece has the weather, so if you think like...
I mean, a lot of NBA stars, they spend their summer holidays in Greece.
Well, anyways, that must have been a good offer then. They do have nice facilities in Bayern, I feel like.
Healthcare is amazing.
And that's important.
Organization. Yeah. Good point, right?
I mean,
a guy who has been battling injuries.
Yeah, he had an ACL injury, I think, in 2021. That's always a huge injury to play after. But he's been playing a lot of games, and I think he's an amazing signing for Bayern. They needed a guy.
It still didn't happen, just to clarify.
I mean,
Bayern are in a strong position to sign
him. When we released this video, it might have been confirmed.
According to Donatas Urbonas, so we are like taking this as...
They're just in a strong position to sign Dinwiddie.
Okay. Anyway, if Bayern signs him... I think that's what we need. They needed. They don't have Rokas Jokubaitis for the whole season because of injury. They needed someone who can create. He's a good creator. He can create for himself, for others, in ISO, in the pick and roll. He can make some shots, although he's inconsistent, I would say, with his shot, but he will have all the green light if this deal comes through, and I think that's huge. I think for the EuroLeague to have Jared Butler and Spencer Dinwiddie coming to the EuroLeague in the same day or in 2 or 3 days difference, that's huge.
You know who that sounds like when you were naming all these things? A tall point guard who can create for himself and others, doesn't shoot the most consistent way. Who does that sound like? Does that not sound like Vasilije Micic, essentially? It's the same profile of player. He's a scorer when usually in the NBA, obviously, the role is a bit smaller for him. But he was still able to... What's his career average of points? It's quite high.
13 points in 27 minutes of action, 3 rebounds, 5 assists.
So he was a scorer, and
I think Vasa is a better off the dribble shooter, but okay.
Well, depends. And I think now maybe again he's back into rhythm, so it's different. But of course, I shouldn't be comparing NBA Vasa and NBA Spencer Dinwiddie, but
And you shouldn't be comparing Spencer 4 or 3 years ago.
yeah, but right now, I mean, what's his last season? 79 games for Dallas, 11-point average, 33% from three. That's something similar to what Vasa has. Of course, Vasa, yeah, of the dribble pull up, definitely better. But otherwise, for me, it's a similar type of player. Takes a lot of shots, high usage, has the ball in his hands, tall, crafty, shifty. All these sort of similar qualities in my eyes.
What to add, right?
Well, Bayern, does that change their trajectory? You know, obviously, like you said.
We'll talk about Bayern later. Speaking of
Okay,
Dinwiddies,
okay, boss.
Speaking of Dinwiddies, I mean, we just have to emphasize how good of a player is coming. Just a couple of facts to spit. He made $90 million in the NBA. I just checked the top ex-NBA earners in the EuroLeague, and there's only Evan Fournier who made
150.
more, 140 or
140,
something.
yeah.
So that kind of describes the status of the player that's coming.
But
And
how much Dinwiddie really earned, because he took some of that money in crypto, I think, or didn't he?
Really?
I think so.
I don't
know, man.
I missed that.
I think his deal was,
Really? In crypto? That's
Yeah,
crazy.
that was
That's so
something.
risky, man.
yeah, but you can earn more,
maybe he
or you can earn less,
even
you know?
more. So
Volatile money.
is this episode sponsored by crypto or what's going on?
no.
Anyways,
No.
And it's not like we're talking about some washed NBA player. In April, Spencer Dinwiddie was averaging almost 15 points, 3.4 rebounds, 6.3 assists. His best season with Brooklyn, it was almost 21 points. In 2019 and 2020, he averaged more than 15 points in at least 6 NBA seasons. That's crazy. I spoke with some people within the market. Many are surprised that Bayern is in that position to sign him, first of all. Probably Dinwiddie is the one who will have to explain this move if that happens. The others also think that he's currently, if he joins, if he's officially the member of Bayern or any EuroLeague team, he's the most talented player in the EuroLeague. And we're even talking, what is there?
I don't know.
What is
Just
this?
it's official. Olympiacos finally found their guard 19 hours ago.
It's definitely not on BasketNews.
No, just funny.
Why he's coming there? Yeah, he's 32 years old. To be as efficient as possible and useful, he has to play a lot with the ball in his hands. He has to play a lot of minutes.
Yeah.
But it doesn't deliver. He doesn't deliver victories to some teams or the ones who are not competing for something big. They want to play young guys. Also, from what I heard within the markets, that he has some question marks regarding his intel, his approach.
What do you mean regarding his intel? Like what?
Personality, character, and stuff like that.
But I saw he has the nickname of Major because he was very vocal in the locker room in Brooklyn. Maybe that has changed. I don't know.
Maybe vocal, sometimes good, sometimes bad, you know?
Well, yeah, maybe
Sometimes it's
Major is not
good, sometimes it's shit. Sometimes it's just
maybe no.
having this
Sometimes
skill.
you don't want to hear.
It doesn't mean that the
Major.
guy is a bad guy or something. Maybe it just takes a different approach. But we're talking about, if it's Bayern, we're talking about Gordon Herbert. The guy who unlocked so many great scorers, so many talented scorers with what others say difficult personalities and different difficult characters. Carson Edwards was a premier scorer last season playing for Bayern. Dennis Schroeder, he kind of recovered his career playing under Gordon Herbert in the German national team. So, and what's interesting that Gordon Herbert was the consultant for the Brooklyn Nets during the 2019-20 season. The one that Spencer Dinwiddie was the best in his NBA years. And I remember I loved Spencer Dinwiddie from that year because this Brooklyn Nets team was so fascinating to watch, coached by Kenny Atkinson. They played this Euro way, you know, and it was something closest to the European basketball without major marquee star players being competitive. So I would love this move to happen because, yeah, it would be crazy to see him playing for Olympiacos, Partizan, any other EuroLeague team. But we're talking about Bayern, and Spencer Dinwiddie makes Bayern legit this season. They don't have the biggest budget. They don't have the greatest roster, but he adds a lot of value to the team. And we have one more contender, at least for the play-in. It just makes Bayern a team to watch this EuroLeague season. And that's a great addition because it's hard to expect him to stay beyond this season. But then you have Rokas Jokubaitis coming back. So that's a great read of the situation that Bayern was into. And I'm not surprised that Bayern is about to pull off the NBA move because I was surprised at first when I heard that they were after some other NBA names. And I was like, okay, how do they have this money? What are the chances to land these guys? I thought that they were, done, but no.
That's got to be at least like $2 million deal.
It should be around that. It should be around that, that's for sure. And it just fills their needs so greatly. When you look at the stats of their guards, and we know that Gordon Herbert's teams are guard-driven teams, nobody's averaging 20 minutes. I mean, Xavier Ratton-Mays, okay, he was sidelined, but Kamar Bolvin, Stefan Jovic, I mean, they needed talent for Gordon Herbert. So I'm not sure about the other teams. Okay, Partizan would be a different case probably, but in Olympiacos, I think for Spencer Dinwiddie, it's a clear green light and it's best situation to display his full potential.
I mean, you should have had Rokas Jokubaitis in this role, and because he gets injured, you sign Spencer Dinwiddie. To me, that's an amazing, replacement.
Yeah,
that's huge. Actually, that's huge. I would love to see both of those guys playing together. But anyway, Bayern needed that, and that is a huge news. And definitely, I agree that it makes Bayern a contender for the play-in at least. Like they are going to be in contention for that spot at least until the late March, in my eyes.
Which team do you think is the most sad about Dinwiddie going somewhere else?
I think Partizan would have been the best fit for him in terms of what they needed. Because for Olympiacos, I think they need a shooting guard. And I don't think, as in a point guard who can shoot. I don't think that Dinwiddie...
But they have Dorsey, they have Fournier, they have Tyson Ward at the 2 and the 3. Okay, more at the 3.
Yeah, but
I think they needed, but okay, now they have Nilikina, they have Saban Lee, they have a lot of players.
I think like Jared Butler would have fit them better than Dinwiddie. I don't know.
Every time, man.
Keenan Evans is not there yet, so let's not talk about him. When we see him, then we can talk about him. I would have said the Jared Butler to Olympiacos makes more sense than Dinwiddie. And I feel like for Željko, a tall guard, this just fits all the criteria what Željko needs from his playmakers. Spencer Dinwiddie. I don't know. What do you guys think?
So you mentioned these two teams coming off big markets with huge fan bases, and that's why there's a lot of shit right now on the social media. Wow, is Dinwiddie going there? And Greek Serbians are yelling.
Right now I'm watching a video that's titled Spencer Dinwiddie, Welcome to Olympiacos. So,
Really?
Yeah, well, they're quick.
I was about to embed his last season's highlights to my report, and I was about to actually embed this one, but then the title says Welcome to Olympiacos. I just put that 1 hour highlights from the last season with Dallas.
Well, welcome to Bayern, Spencer. Today.
Perhaps.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Let's be patient. Let's be patient.